Hey everyone, Reed here back with Big Strong Book, and today we're going to be talking about Now Wait for Last Year by Philip K. Dick. Yet again, another day, another Dick novel. This one was very enjoyable. I wouldn't rank it as high, maybe, as novels like Ubik or The Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but it was an extremely solid novel. A lot of tie-ins to, and, things that those of us in the 2020s now can take from the novel in regards to, um, what is truth and what is not, in the nature of government rule, which was certainly relevant in a very paranoid 1960s America, but is I still think that's relevant today. So the plot of the novel, it's set in I believe 2055 or 2065, somewhere around there. And there is a big intergalactic war going on between the humans, a planet called Lillistar, and then these like insect-like creatures called the Regs. And Earth, of course, is caught in the middle. And Earth has an alliance with Lillistar, and they're against the Regs, these insect creatures. But the thing is, uh, the leader of the United Nations, and the United Nations has kind of taken over Earth, is a man named Gino Molinari. And Molinari has these immense health problems in a very suspicious way, to where the protagonist, a doctor named Eric Sweetscent, is called in to be his personal physician, it seems. And Sweetscent himself gets drawn into this whole, big political intrigue, upheaval, what have you. And, I guess the biggest thing I can say about this novel is, in a similar respect to Ubik and Three Stigmata, is that it's more the experience of trying to wrap your brain around things. And what I mean by that is this. So, one of the big conflicts of the novel, aside from the intergalactic one, is a much more personal conflict for Sweetscent between himself and his wife Kathy. And she they're just constantly butting heads. They both want to separate, but they still stay together. And she takes this drug called JJ-180. It's a hallucinogenic drug which displaces the user in space-time. Most people find themselves briefly transported to the past. However, the more you use the drug, and one of the big things about the novel is that it is an extremely addictive drug, with very severe withdrawal symptoms, even after one use. Most people move back in time. This might be like 5-10 years. The more you take it, the further and further and further and further back in time. Of course, you're back in time for just long enough until the drug effects wear off, and then you come back to your present. Then, this doesn't stop characters from trying to manipulate things, and it doesn't really change their present. And so the theory is that these, just stem off, that they just create alternate realities. Eric Sweetscent is, at a part in the book, he is drugged by his wife. She drugs him. He finds himself not like the other users, or not like most of the other users where they go into the past. He goes into the future, 1 year at first. And again, this is when he really finds himself in the midst of this political battle, uh, because there's this other doctor who's with him in the UN headquarters in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and the doctor says, "Well, it's 1 year later, and the UN leader is dead. We lost the war, and here's a newspaper headline for you." Essentially, that Sweet Scent was uh, being sought after by government authorities for the assassination of the UN secretary. Of course, as Sweet Scent says in that moment, this could all be fake. It could all be fake to try to get something out of him. Uh, but then he continues to take the drug, move further into the future to where he interacts with his future self. And I'd say because of the underpinnings of the novel, again, just, the zany nature that comes with, as it does in many of Dick's novels, where characters will imbibe something and then find a massive shift in how they perceive their reality, but then implications of government. It's hard to say more, I guess, without directly spoiling things from the book. And I read this a little while ago, so the fine details start to fade. But I would say, in terms of the ones that I've recently read, this definitely stands above Dr. Blood Money, Martian Time Slip, novels like that, which are contemporaneous to this. This stands above them, and even though it was written kind of around the same time that Three Stigmata was, it was written before Ubik. It's kind of hard, especially with the way that the Library of America editions, the way that they structured the set of 3 volumes, it wasn't exactly in complete chronological order. But this was the point in his career, I strongly believe, that he was really finding his footing as an author. The things he wanted to convey about the nature of reality, about those in power versus those without power, and the nature of what makes us human, and then kind of having the macro scale things, but then the very micro scale stuff on the bottom too. That's important as well, and I find that intriguing. So this mid 60s ish, around the time that Three Stigmata comes out, that's the point where I think you really start to see a change in the quality of his writing. And I wonder, too, based on kind of how acrimonious Sweet Scent is with his wife, I have to wonder if Dick was going through a pretty nasty divorce, or maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was, on paper, happily married during the time, but was very close to potentially separating or divorcing or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised. Life informs art, and this certainly seems like a case of stuff bleeding over onto the written word and onto the page. So, Now Wait for Last Year, and I'll keep this brief, gets a high recommendation for me as what I think, along with Three Stigmata, chronologically at least, represents a great turning point in his career, where he goes from a good, more pulpy author that's experimenting with more serious ideas, or a more confident, maybe confidence is the word I'm looking for, where he is absolutely confident in what he's doing. This, along with Three Stigmata, I think are the 2 great bridge novels. So, again, it gets a high recommendation from me. If you guys have read Now Wait for Last Year, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.